let me talk about the past first. And if the past resonates with you, then, the rest of the reading, you can probably identify with it. So in the past position, we do have an air sign. So this is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, sun, moon, or rising. If they're not this suit, they are somebody who is very, very, I feel like it was difficult for you to understand where this person, like how this person feels about you. And it's hard for you to really understand like where they're coming from. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody who's very closed off emotionally. They're not the most verbally like expressive type of person. They're not physically affectionate as well. So you're kind of like dealing with somebody who it's hard for you to read, who you have to like tread very carefully around, because I feel there is an element of conservatism with them. I feel like this is somebody that has been through a lot in life. They've had a lot of instability in their home environment growing up. And as a result of it, they seem like they're very self-protected, like self-protective, and they don't really put themselves out there. They're a little bit closed off, mainly because they have trust issues. And they are also like, just, I feel like there might have been a lot of love involved with this person, but the way that they are, the way that you are, and the way that you both communicate together as a couple, even the way that you express love and affection, I feel like you like this person, but it seems to me like they've been through a lot. So they're saying like they're a little bit broken, they're a little bit damaged, and it made it hard for you to have an emotional connection with this person. Okay. I feel like this is a really outstanding, good person. And I feel like they really did care about you. But there were issues that, trust issues or even childhood trauma and things like that, that they haven't really overcome yet. And when they got into a relationship with you or when you met them, they weren't ready. And I do sense like, if you've been with this person for a really long time, it also indicates to me like an amicable, a mutual parting of the ways where you both can be cordial with one another and there isn't like a great deal of resentment and in that separation. So I feel like in the past, a lot of you have been with this person either in a short-term romance or in a very, very long-term romance. I do feel for some of you that might have been with this person, it might have been like, 6 years or less, okay, 6 months or less. So I feel like it's somebody quite recent, somebody that is still heavily kind of like, I feel like they're a good person. But for some reason, the timing between you both were just never in sync, in alignment. So I feel like you were dealing with this person and you have since moved away from it. What I'm sensing is with you and this person, you're a water sign, and I feel like Cancer people in general need a lot of reassurance, need a lot of emotional support. You need a lot of validation, affirmation, and you need a lot of compliments from your partner, not because you're fishing for compliments, but because it makes you feel wanted and needed, and it makes you feel secure. And I feel like this person is not somebody that gives out compliments easily. I do sense like emotional repression with this person. And as a result of it, like it's hard to be in a relationship with them if you're somebody that needs a lot of attention, that needs a lot of coaxing, coddling. So I feel like they're very, very stoic, and they have been through, a lot of pain and struggle and strife in their own life. So they're not like ready to take on, to play that maternal role to another person. So that's what I'm feeling here. And as a result of it, there were difficulties communicating. There were difficulties seeing eye to eye. There were difficulties when it comes to like gauging how much they really care about you. And I feel like you or them have chosen to move on from this relationship. And I feel a relationship that was quite significant, 6 years or less and 6 months or less with this person. Even though it's 6 months or less, they're still showing up here. Which brings us to the present situation. In the present situation, we have here the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands indicates passion, indicates excitement. It indicates like, chemistry with another person. The Ace of Wands, because it's a fire suit, it indicates our passion, our drive being ignited, okay? But alone, it doesn't indicate love, or it doesn't indicate stability. It's just a very, very quick burst of passion. Coupled with other things, it can last, but still, it needs a lot of nurturing, okay? So all aces are like the beginning of a fruitful union. It can work out depending on how much energy, how much resources, how much emotional investment you want to put in it. So I feel like you're still, I feel like a lot of you have moved on from this person. You have found somebody else. A lot of you might have shifted from an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, to a fire sign. Um, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And I feel that because you met this new person, you were able to leave that significant relationship partner behind, and you're able to like accept the fact that, yes, it was great at one point, but I've moved on. And I feel as well, a lot of you are feeling new excitement, new passion for a new person. And you know that like there aren't, right off the bat, there aren't a lot of compatibility, but it's exciting and it's stimulating. And I feel that you're willing to put in the work to invest in this because you want that excitement. You want to feel, the jitters of a new love relationship again. Some of you can have, multiple options, meaning like multiple suitors. And so I feel that you are at least dating again. But a lot of you, I feel, are coming through in this month with a relationship. So the foundation indicates to me what's known to be true in this present moment as we, progress into December. We do have here the 10 of Pentacles, which indicates a very, very stable, solid foundation. Two people that have worked together to build a generational wealth, to build up and accumulate a lot of wealth and stability in the relationship. So a lot of you might have already might enter this month already in a coupled relationship that has a lot of stability and growth. If you are already in a relationship that is very, very stable and very solid, I feel like you might be coupled up with an earth sign, okay? A Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising. And I feel like both of you on the professional front, you're a very good match. Like on paper, one person, for example, one person's a lawyer, the other person's a doctor. That is like a good match. It's a good social match. And then a lot of you might be like from the, upper middle class upbringing, and then the other person's upper middle class upbringing. So there seems to be something of a good match in this union. So I feel like on the public front, like on paper, the union looks very stable, very, very good. But I do see some type of competition between you and your partner about, who's making more money. I do see some element of like a little bit of envy, a little bit of competition, and a little bit of like nitpicking at one another. This is something that you really want to sort out in your relationship, because I feel like it's chipping away at the foundation of the relationship. On the one hand, you have somebody who's very, very stable, like the earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. It is somebody who's very reliable, who will be there for you like in the middle of the night if you need anything. But I do feel like there's an element here of like the relationship looking very, very good on paper. It might be like overly stable to the point where you might be, wanting new things. Okay. So I do see temptation. I do see all of that, especially if you are in a relationship with an earth sign. What's coming through as the crowning energy? And the crowning energy is the person, the situation, or the circumstance that you are thinking about. We have here the devil, and the devil indicates to me, first of all, temptation outside of the relationship. And I do feel as well, a lot of you, you're feeling like, you're feeling frisky. You're feeling like you want to take risks. And I feel like you have a lot of people that are admiring your work. So you might be in a very high power status or like position. And I feel that a lot of people are admiring you. You have a lot of suitors coming through, a lot of people just like randomly messaging you, looking at you through social media. And I feel they're reaching out to you. So I see a lot of an energy about, I see like a Cancerian male who has like a bunch of women following him. Okay. So for example, I feel like somebody with a groupie, somebody with like a lot of admirers. And I feel like it's it's, yes, it's flattering and it can be harmless if you know how to manage that energy. But I feel like it is posing as a major temptation for many of you. So, especially if you're dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, this energy can come through from their end, where I feel like there might be some control issues. There might be a little bit of jealousy, resentment coming through from the earth sign. And I feel like there's a sense of competition as well. So there is some type of temptation coming through in this environment, especially if, for those of you who are coupled up. And for others of you, you are dealing right now with a fire sign. So you might have transitioned from an air sign to a fire sign, and you're still with a fire sign right now, and there's temptation from outside of the relationship. So I feel like you're in a very, very spirited mood and you want to take risk. And I feel like there's a lot of people soliciting you from outside the relationship, or if you're single even, there's a lot of temptation coming through. And the advice here is, if you are thinking about a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo specifically, I feel almost like they're not really making a move towards you. They're seeing all the people in your midst, and they're seeing like all the competition that they have to jump through, they have to get through. So they're not really excited about having to make the first move. So I feel like you're dealing with a very hesitant fire sign. So, which brings us to the future position. In the future position, we do have here the Eight of Cups as well as the Tower. So be very careful about, like when I mentioned, if you are competing with somebody, and if, somebody's like, if there's temptation outside of the relationship, make sure you have a talk with your partner, because I feel like the foundation of the relationship is being slowly corroded because of like control issues, ego issues, jealousy, accusations about, third party involvements and things like that. So be careful about that. Additionally, a lot of you might be with a fire sign who is very, very hesitant. I feel like you're forced to do all the work, and you have other people in your midst that you're attracted to. So you might just be walking away altogether. Okay. So the Eight of Cups here is walking away from a situation that we have invested a lot of our time, a lot of our energy, a lot of our resources in, and you're not walking away lightly. This was something that, that you have thought long and hard about, and you might realize that it's not worth it anymore, that you might have a false image of the other person when you first met, and as you got to know them, you realize that you are very incompatible, and that there aren't enough to keep you both together as a unit. It's linked up here with the Tower, and the Tower usually indicates to me, with the Eight of Cups, some type of walking away as a result of some direct confrontation, some revelation, some truths being revealed, as well as overall incompatibility within the relationship that has proven to be too difficult to manage over time. I pulled out two cards linked up with it. And first of all, I have here the Ten of Cups, as well as the Eight of Wands. So first of all, I feel like a lot of you might have moved on, started dating new people, and you might find out that either the air sign, somebody that you're thinking about heavily, I feel like you might realize that they are in, they have found somebody else, they're happy, and they're in another relationship. So I feel like if you are leaving somebody behind, if you have left somebody behind, whoever you left behind, they are quickly moving on. You might catch news through, mutual friends, through family, through social contacts, through social media, that they have moved on and they are trying to rebuild their life. Okay. And then others of you, I honestly feel like you have left one relationship for another partner, like for what you've left one person in order to be with somebody else that you are very, very attracted to and have been attracted to for quite some time. So I feel like one relationship ends and then another one begins very, very quickly, like right on the heels of it. Take some time off to adequately mourn and heal and, from that relationship before you jump into something new, because I feel like this is more of the energy where you're, it's kind of like that rebound energy, wanting to like get back in the game. and attracting the wrong types of people. So it might feel like it's the right thing to do right now, but I feel like, further down the line, like 2 weeks from now, even, you might regret that decision. So just be careful about not making any major changes right now, drastic relationship, changes during the Mercury in retrograde period, because I feel like once the energy shifts into January, you might regret the decisions. Okay, so don't do anything based on like an argument. I feel like that. Don't walk away because of some argument. You want to let that energy settle and then sort it out and, try to really think if that's what you really want, and at least wait into January. Okay. I honestly feel a lot of you are shifting partners, and you might be in a relationship. There's temptation from outside the relationship, and you might find you feel as if you've met somebody that meets all the criteria of the Mr. or Mrs. Right for you. But I feel that if you were leaving your partner for that person, especially for this month, I feel like you're making a big mistake. Okay. And I feel like this is not a soulmate connection. That third person is not a soulmate connection, and it's not going to be sufficient for you to be happy. So they're telling you to really fix the foundation of your current relationship if you're not happy, because the person that you're with right now, they're very, very stable. And especially for those of you who have moved away from one person, are now, like just dating around and having fun, I do feel that if that's you, I feel that there is a process of like narrowing down your options and being with somebody that you really, really care for. Okay. So that's coming through, especially if you're not in a serious relationship. But those of you in serious relationship, you want to stick with your partner because I feel like they're very good. They seem very reliable, very faithful. There's some control issues, but you can definitely talk to each other, work around that energy. Okay. Please don't make any drastic decisions for this month when it comes to your relationship, because I feel like you're operating from a space of temptation and not so much like real deep spiritual like insights when it comes to your relationship. So don't make any decisions right now. Okay. Feel things out. Mercury in retrograde time periods are also good for fixing problems in existing relationships as well. So if something keeps coming back up every 4 months, the same argument keeps coming back up in a relationship, that's something for you to really hash out with your partner. Okay. So take it easy, Cancers. Pull back your energy, focus on your relationship, and really try to fix it if there are recurring problems. Okay. Singles, I feel like you're in a good space to meet somebody that is really, really good for you. I feel very strongly I feel like it might be another water sign. Fire sign and water sign, I feel, are coming through very strongly for stability. Okay. So water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, another water sign like yourself. And then, the fire sign, especially if you're single and if you're like wanting to meet people, I do see fire sign coming through as well. The earth sign might be somebody that you're already in a relationship with.